Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vitvaram Satgurum Brahma Vitvaram. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti nah Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no bruhaspatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. 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 Second Mundaka, second Khanda, sixth and seventh mantra. Ara ivarathanabhau samhata yatra nadyah. Ara ivarathanabhau samhata yatra nadyah. Sa eshontascharate bahudha jayamanah. Sa eshontascharate bahudha jayamanah. Omityevam dhyayatha atmanam. Dhyayatha atmanam. Swasti vah paraya tamasaf parastat. Paraya tamasaf parastat. Yas sarvajñas sarvavit. Yas sarvajñas sarvavit. Yasyaisha mahima bhuvi. Divye brahmapure hyeshah. Vyomnyatma pratisthitah. Vyomanyatma pratisthitah. Manomayah prana sharira neta. Pratisthitone hrudayam sannidhaya. Tadvijnanena paripashyanti dhiraha. Anandarupam amrutam yadvibhati. The main topic of this khanda is, having understood the nature of Akshara, how should one keep mind on Akshara? How should one keep the mind in Akshara? Different techniques are given. That is why we saw the beautiful metaphor of bow and arrow, which was pointed out for meditation. Now here, to shift attention on infinite truth is difficult. So Upanishad mantra says, let us take a support Through that support, let us try to meditate on the self. Because this consciousness is our own true nature, no external support is given. The support taken is heart, physical heart in the body. In the heart, recognize presence of buddhi. Through the buddhi, recognize witness of thoughts. Those are the 3 steps. The example given in 6th mantra was, just like the spokes of the wheel are connected to the hub, different nadis in this body are connected to the heart. And in the heart, recognize buddhi. In buddhi, there is this Atma which moves about and appears to be born in several ways. With the conditioning of every thought, consciousness as though appears to be born. This sadhaka has already understood nature of Atma. He is not having this doubt whether consciousness is born or not. His problem is, in spite of having understood Atma, he is unable to pay attention to it. So Upanishad is giving a very simple method. Focus on the heart, focus on buddhi, and buddhi pratyaya sakshi. Pratyaya means thought. What is the name of this Atma? Om iti evam dhyayata atmanam. Meditate upon this Atma by uttering the word Om. This is the power of name. It will bring whatever it indicates. So in the beginning of the class also, when we chant Om, if you have understood the meaning of Om, then while chanting this bhavana should come. I am meditating upon that truth which is a witness of thoughts. Swastivav paraya tamasav parastat. Upanishad Rishi blesses all of us. In this journey of self-avoidance, may we not have too many obstacles. May mind not get extroverted. Even if it does, may we quickly come back. That is the blessing. Next mantra was a continuation of this thought process. Yaha sarvajnyaha sarvavit. That consciousness which is sarvajnya, knows everything as illuminator. And it is sarvavit also. Along with Maya Upadhi, it knows everything in detail. Bhavanas of a jiva, that consciousness knows in detail. Yasya esha Mahima bhuvi, one whose glory is well known on this earth. Now, how is this Mahima well known? Shankaracharya will elaborate. So let us see that when we see the Bhashya part. Divye Brahmapurehi eshaha Vyomni Atma Pratishtitaha. How will you rearrange it? Divye Brahmapure Vyomni Eshaha Atma Pratishtitaha. In the heart. So Divye there refers to heart. Brahmapura refers to that heart where buddhi is recognized. Reflection of consciousness is recognized. In that Vyomni, in that heart space, Atma Pratishtitaha. What is the Vyomni referring to here? Chidakasha. Chidakasha. So we saw there are 3 Akasha. One is called as Bhutakasha, the space we are familiar with. Second one is Chitta Akasha, space of the mind. Third one is Chidakasha, space of consciousness. If there is a pot, that pot is in Bhutakasha. If I am thinking of a pot, that thought of pot is in Chitta Akasha. Means that pot which is appearing as a thought is in Chitta Akasha. And the thought itself is appearing in consciousness. So that consciousness, Chidakasha. So whenever the term space comes in Upanishad mantra, we should appreciate which space they are referring to. See, consciousness is the substratum of mind and the world outside. If we say consciousness lives in Bhutakasha, then what has happened here? We have made Bhutakasha as the support, consciousness as the supported. That's why these words are important. In this Chidakasha, we will recognize pure consciousness, which is well established. Then the next part of mantra said, Manomayaha Prana Sharira Neta. Manomayaha means it is recognized through the conditioning of mind. And Prana Sharira Neta. Prana Sharira refers to pranas, of course, which are subtle. But Sharira refers to Sukshma Sharira. Prana Sharira Neta means it is this consciousness alone which leads the Sukshma Sharira from one body to another body. Neta means one who leads. From where to where does he lead? From one Sthula Sharira to next Sthula Sharira. Meaning without consciousness, the movement of Sukshma Sharira is not possible. What is moving is Sukshma Sharira. But title of Neta comes to consciousness. Because in the presence of consciousness alone, enlivened by consciousness alone, Sukshma Sharira transmigrates. Pratishtitaha Anne. It is recognized in gross body. Shankaracharya clarifies, Pratishtita Anne doesn't mean it is rooted in gross body. It is recognized in gross body. First, Hrudaya. In Hrudaya means physical heart. In physical heart, recognize Buddhi. So the next word which is there, Hrudayam Sannidaya. Shankaracharya says, translate that word Hrudayam as Buddhi. In physical heart, recognize Buddhi. There, recognize illuminator of thought. Tad vijnanena paripashyanti dhiraha. Through the knowledge of that Atma, dhira purushas are able to recognize this Atma within and recognize this Atma everywhere. So this sadhaka was finding it difficult to focus attention to Atma within. So Upanishad gave him these 3 steps. Physical heart, Buddhi, illuminator of thought. Dhiraha. Those who have viveka. Dhira here refers to those who are able to discern. Even to discern between Bhutakasha, Chittakasha and Chidakasha. It's very subtle. But who are able to appreciate this distinction, they are called as Dhiraha. Ananda Rupam Amrutam Yat Vibhati. See, Upanishad mantra doesn't say Sat Rupam, Chit Rupam. What is needed to recognize is Ananda Rupa. One comes to recognize one's own blissful self. Ananda Rupam Amrutam, that which is without, that which is eternal, which doesn't perish, Yad Vibhati, that alone shines, that is recognized by this Dhira Purusha. The Bhashya is simple, but the special uniqueness of this Bhashya is an elaboration of the word Yasyesha Mahima Bhuvi. Let us see the Bhashya. Yaha asau tamasaha parastat samsara mahodadhim tirtva gantavyah paravidya vishayah saha kasmin vartate iti aha yas sarvajnah sarvavit vyakhyatah Tam punaha vishinashti yasya eshah prasiddhah Mahima Vibhutihi Kaha asau Mahima Yaha asau. See, others shabda is not generally used, but in Shankar Bhashya you will find others being used. Others becomes asau. Yaha asau means that consciousness which is being elaborated right now, that akshara whose nature is being elaborated, tamasaha parastat, it is beyond ignorance, which was presented in that way in previous mantra. Samsara mahodadim tirtva, having crossed over this ocean of samsara, gantavya. Gantavya means that which is worthy of knowing. Gantavya literally doesn't mean going somewhere. Means that akshara which is worthy of knowing, knowing which we will cross over samsara. Paravidya vishaya. How many adjectives are given, you see, of akshara? That which is a subject matter of paravidya. If I study science, engineering, medicine, it will not tell me nature of akshara. Because that is aparavidya vishaya, it will tell me something of this world. Main question I should ask is that knowledge telling about some object? Or is it telling about me? If it tells about any object, that is not paravidya, that is not Chaitanya. Paravidya vishaya saha kasmin vartate, where to recognize this Atma, where does it live? If this is the question, this mantra answers. You see how he is building the connection. Nature of Atma was described before. But if I have this question in my sadhana, I have understood nature of Atma, how can I abide in it? Where can I find it such that I can place my mind in it? This mantra comes saying, Yaha sarvajnyaha sarvavit. Iti vyakhyatah. This has been already elaborated before. Shankaracharya says, I am not going to elaborate it further. Where was it elaborated? 119. Yes, sarvajnyaha sarvavit was elaborated in first Mundaka. Tam punaha vishinashti. The nature of this Atma is further elaborated. Yasya eshah Mahima. Eshah means of this Atma which is very well known. See, well known amongst sadhakas, well known amongst Rishi Munis. See, colloquial well known and their well known is very different. For them, Atma is very well known. For a person who is not a sadhaka, world is very well known. For a sincere sadhaka, minimal knowledge of world, whatever is needed. That's why Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, towards that truth, majority are asleep, Jnani is awake. And towards world, majority are awake, Jnani is asleep. That is why the word prasiddha comes. Whatever we have valued, whatever we are seeking, that will be very well known to us. Yasya eshah prasiddha Mahima. What is the meaning of Mahima? Vibhuti. Bhuti means to exist. Vibhuti means to exist in a special way. Exist in a way that it is noticed. That is called as Vibhuti. 11th chapter name also comes from here. Bhagavan says, I pervade this creation, but there are few places where you can recognize my distinct expression. That is called my Vibhuti. Mahima Vibhutihi. Kaha asau Mahima. What is his Mahima? Now Bhagavan takes his poetic pen and starts describing the Mahima of Atma. So if you want to appreciate this and allow it to touch the heart, look at it with a poetic mind. Don't try to analyze it scientifically. It will take away the rasa. Rasa bhanga will happen. You see what he says? Yasya ime dyava pruthivyau shasane vidhrute tishthatah surya chandramasau यस्य शासने अलात चक्रवत अजस्रं भ्रमतः यस्य शासने सरितः सागराश्च स्वगोचरं न अतिक्रामन्ति तथा स्थावरं जंगमं च यस्य शासने नियतं तथा च ऋतवः अयने अब्दाश्च यस्य शासनं न अतिक्रामन्ति तथा कर्तारः कर्माणि फलं च यत् शासनात् स्वं स्वं कालं न अतिवर्तन्ते स एष महिमा भुवि लोके यस्य स एष सर्वज्ञः एवं महिमा देवः. First one, Bhagwan says, Yasya ime dyava pruthivyau shasane vidurute tishtataha. In this Atma alone, Dyuloka, heaven and earth, they are placed under the ruling of this consciousness. See, in simple words, the idea behind all this Mahima is, there are so many things happening in this universe. And universe is a product of Maya. Maya is inert. Nothing can happen in an inert entity unless it is enlivened by consciousness. This body is inert, it is moving about because there is reflection of consciousness. Just like we are able to appreciate for this body, Shankaracharya says, and appreciate the same Mahima for this universe. If you are noticing intelligence somewhere, that intelligence cannot be without touch of consciousness. If you are noticing order somewhere, that order cannot be without touch of consciousness. Some sentient entity is needed who is keeping an eye on all these things. Keeping an eye, not like a jiva. Through Maya Shakti, keeping an eye on all these rules and regulations of this universe. Simple example is, in this room, if chairs are arranged in a line, and I say, chairs randomly arrange themselves in a line, that is like saying, creation is randomly operating in order. Inert object cannot have order by itself. Here we are able to appreciate, this order cannot come about without a sentient being. The order which is there in universe, we can infer, that also cannot come about without a cosmic sentient being. Within that we can have scientific explanation. But how did that particular phenomenon come into place? You say, with the blessing of consciousness. That is the main point here. So, Dyuloka, Prithvi Loka and all lokas, they are within the ruling, Shasane. Vidhrute tishtata. Vidhrute means niyamita. It has certain order. How many years each loka will stay. Which jiva will stay in which loka. All of that order is very well maintained because of this consciousness. The main point is, if shasanam is there, shasta has to be there. Shasanam means if order is observed, ordainer has to be there. Surya Chandramasau yasya shasane alata chakravat ajasram brahmatah. Surya Chandramasau means sun and the moon, under whose shasana, under whose ruling, alata chakravat, just like a sparkler. Ajasram means satatam, all the time, continuously. Brahmatah, they are moving about. See, Shankaracharya, when he looks at the sun and the moon, he feels it's a sparkler which is moving about. Once sun stops, moon starts. Moon stops, sun starts. Ajasram word comes in Rudrashtakam. Ajasram majam bhanu koti prakasham. Ajasram means continuously, one who is shining. Now, Mahima of the sun, if you see, even scientifically, they say it is the sun which is holding the entire solar system together. He said it is able to hold because of this Chaitanya. I had read one article, NASA had published it. He said, we keep an eye on the sun. Means what are the functions of the sun? All of that they had listed very nicely. So that sun which is having this ability, that is the Mahima of this Chaitanya. What is seen to us is the Mahima of the sun. But it is able to have that Mahima because of Chaitanya. And that's why we worship sun god. Through the sun we worship that consciousness presiding over sun. Because of this worship, if sun starts loving people on the earth and comes little closer, everything will get scorched and burnt. Little bit further, everything will freeze if it moves further away. So Mahima is, it is in its own place, doing its work because of this Chaitanya. Next one is again poetic. Yasya shasane saritah sagarascha swagocharam na atikramanti. Because of whose ruling, saritah means rivers. Saritah means sarati iti saritah. That which moves gracefully is called a river. Sagaraha, oceans. Swagocharam na atikramanti. They don't transgress their bounds. Now again, wear a poetic hat and start thinking, what are the bounds of a river? What is the bound of a river? It is that just like human beings, they are also born. But where are they born? In high mountains. Janma is there. Even for a river, flows from high to a low. Another beauty and bound of a river is, whenever it meets an obstacle, if it can go over it, it will go. If it cannot, it will just go around it. That's why if you see the path of a river, it's very graceful. Lot of curves and bends, because it is taking the path of least resistance. That it is Mahima. Last Mahima is, there are several Mahimas. One of the Mahima is, no matter which river it is, it wants to meet the ocean. You'll never find a river just stopping in a landmass. It is said even if it does, it will find an underground way to go to the ocean. So Shankaracharya says all this Mahima is of Chaitanya. That river is following its dharma because of the touch of Chaitanya. Next one he says is of Sagara. What is the Mahima of Sagara? 70% of Earth's surface is Sagara only. 70% of Earth's surface is Sagara, ocean. And it is said total there are 8.7 million species on this earth, out of which 2.2 million are in the ocean. Means that which looks so calm from outside has a whole kingdom inside. Another name of Sagara is Ratnakara. That which is a mine of jewels. Akara means mine. Ratna Akara means that which is a mine of jewels. He says, whenever you see Sagara, remember the Mahima of Chaitanya. One thing to appreciate here is understanding the Mahima of Chaitanya doesn't take away the physical Mahima. It actually deepens it. Next Bhagavan says, Tatha sthavaram jangamam cha yasya shasane niyatam. Sthavara means unmoving. Jangamam means moving. Under whose ruling they are also following their bounds. So plant will be sthavara, animals and humans will be jangama. They are under the ruling of Chaitanya. Tatha chartavaha. Now you know where the word in Sanskritam test came from. Chartavaha. It is cha rutavaha. Ritu shabda becomes rutavaha. Rutava means seasons. And ayana means path of the sun. Dakshinayana and Uttarayana. Whichever path the sun takes, whichever seasons are coming and going, Shankaracharya says, while you see that, recognize the Mahima of Atma. Recognize the Mahima of Chaitanya. Abdascha. Abdaha means samvatsaraha. Year. Samvatsara. That's why we say Shashtyabdhi Purti. 60 years completed. Abdha means year. Abdascha yasya shasanam na atikramanti. Seasons, path of the sun and year, they don't transgress their bound because of this consciousness. Tatha, this one is very important. Tatha kartaraha karmani phalam cha. Kartaraha karmani phalam cha yat shasanat swam swam kalam na ativartante. The doer, action and the result of action. They are connected together because of this Chaitanya alone. And result will not come even a second before it is due to come. Swa kalam na atikramante. And doesn't matter how many jivas are here in this entire universe. Whatever action a person has done, that result will come perfectly to him. Even by mistake, it will not go to his neighbor. In Mumbai, they have this dabbawalas. They say they follow 6 sigma. It is better than 6 sigma. The Japanese method of 0.001% error. I mean, there is very almost negligible chance 1% dabba going to somebody else. And all dabbas look the same. Everything is steel container only. but their mechanism is such it will never go to the wrong person. Karma phalas are like that. Doesn't matter who has done, where he has done, a result will find him. And it will find him at the right time. That's why Bhagavan says, Swaswa kalam na ativartante. Another point to note here is, if a person accepts karta, doer, he should not say, I don't accept karma siddhanta. If I say I am karta, I should accept all three. Kartaram, karmani, phalam cha. I am karta, I did karma, and the result will come. All results will not come right at that time. It will come at some other time. So that karma siddhanta, I should be able to accept. I cannot say, I think or I know that I am karta, I believe that I am karta, but I don't accept karma siddhanta. Sa esha mahima bhuvi loke yasya sa esha sarvajnah evam mahima devah. Whatever we discussed, Shankaracharya says, most important point is recognize the Mahima of Atma. Wear this Vedantic lens, and wherever we see this Mahima, try to recognize it there itself. Continuing, Divye Dyotanavati Sarva Bauddha Pratyaya Kruta Dyotane Brahmapure Brahmanaha Atra Chaitanya Swarupena Nitya Abhivyaktatvat Brahmanaha Puram Hrudaya Pundarikam Tasmin Yad Vyoma Tasvin Vyomni Akashe Hrut Pundarika Madhyasthe Pratishtitah Iva Upalabhyate Nahi Akashavat Sarvagatasya Gatihi Agatihi Pratishtha Va Anyatha Sambhavati Sahi Atma Tatrastha Manovrutti Bihi Eva Vibhavyate Iti Manomayah Mana Upadhitvat Prana Sharira Neta Pranascha Shariram Cha Prana Shariram Tasya Ayam Neta Sthulat Sharirat Sharirantaram Prati Pratishtitah Avasthitah Anne Bhujyamana Anna Vipariname Pratidinam Upachiyamane Apachiyamane Cha Pindarupa Anne Hrudayam Buddhim Pundarika Chidre Sannidhaya Samavasthapya. Now, which part of the mantra are we describing? Divye Brahmapure Hyeshah Vyomanyatma Pratishtita. That part, huh? So we saw what is Yas Sarvajnah Sarvavita Yasyesha Mahima Bhuvi. Mahima word Shankaracharya elaborated. Different Mahimas he pointed, and he said, pay attention to Chaitanya. Now Divye. What is Divye? Dyotanavati Sarva Bauddha Pratyaya Kruta Dyotane Brahmapure. Divya means that heart space which is illumined by thoughts. Sarva Bauddha Pratyaya Kruta Dyotane. that heart space which is illumined by thoughts, also known as Brahmapura. Why is it called Brahmapura? Brahmanah atra Chaitanya Swarupena Nitya Abhivyaktatvat. Brahmana Puram Hridaya Pundarikam. This heart is called as Brahmapura because reflected consciousness in the form of Buddhi is always available in this heart. So 3 steps you remember. Heart, Buddhi, Buddhi Pratyaya Sakshi. You will not get confused in this mantra. So why is it called as Brahmapura? Distinct expression of consciousness is felt in the heart. That's why when we refer to ourselves, we say I. Naturally, the hand goes to the heart. Tasmin, in that heart, yad vyoma. Tasmin vyomni akashe. In that heart, recognize the akasha. Now, which akasha are we talking about here? Not bhutakasha, not even chittakasha. We are referring to chidakasha. Chidakashe vyomni, because this akasha, chidakasha, is the substratum for thoughts, substratum for objects. But to shift attention there, heart is helpful. Chidakashe Hrut Pundarika Madhyaste. In the midst of the heart, recognize this Chidakasha. Pratishtitaha. There you will find Atma, which is well established. Pratishtha means it is manifest. Abhivyakti happens of Atma in this Chidakasha. Or Chidakasha itself is Atma. Don't think there is another space called Chidakasha. Atma's another name is Chidakasha. Iva upalabhyate. As though it is available there. See how careful Shankaracharya is. He says, why did you add the word Iva? He said, this is the only way you can explain how come this all-pervading consciousness is available in the heart. Means consciousness which is infinite, we are trying to recognize it through the heart. Means it is as though recognized or as though rooted there. It is sufficient to shift attention there. This kind of explanation, what it will do is, it will help us recognize Atma. See next sentence what he says. Don't search the location of all-pervading self. Means don't confine this all-pervading self to only the heart. Nahi akashavat sarvagatasya gatihi agatihi pratishtha va anyatha sambhavati. Means without adding the word iva, you cannot explain this fact. How come the all-pervading consciousness got inside the heart? He says this is only so that we can shift attention there. Don't start thinking consciousness is in the heart. It is a place for recognition. All of you are with me, right, on this point? Sahi Atma tatrastaha. That Atma you can recognize there. Tatrastha means what? Hridaye. In that heart it can be recognized. Manovrittibihi. Manovrittibihi eva vibhavyate. Iti manomayaha. Mana upaditvat. Atma gets the name Manomayaha. Did you notice that point here? Manomayaha prana sharira neta. Manomaya is whose name? Not of Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya is the name of Atma. So Shankaracharya says, Atma got the name Manomaya because it is having the conditioning of Manaha. Mana upaditvat. Because it has a conditioning of mind, Atma is called Manomaya. And Manovrittibihi vibhavyate. It is perceived as Sakshi with respect to thoughts. Vibhavyate means it is perceived. Manovrittibihi. Through thoughts, one can shift attention or recognize illuminator of thought. So thought becomes a door to consciousness. Pratibodha viditam matam. Thoughts are that, or consciousness is that, for whom thoughts become an object. So if I'm able to see thoughts, I should be able to recognize consciousness as the illuminator of thought. That's why consciousness gets the name Manomaya. Prana Sharira Neta. What is Prana Sharira? Pranascha Shariram cha. Prana, the 5 subtle pranas which are there, and Sharira. Sharira here refers to Linga Sharira, subtle body. One who leads it, that Atma is called Prana Sharira Neta. Pranascha Shariram cha, Prana Shariram, Tasya Ayam Neta. Tasya means what? Jivasya. Of that Jiva, Atma is the leader. From where to where does he lead? Sthulat Sharirat Sharirantaram Prati. From one gross body to another gross body. Whenever transmigration happens, it happens enlivened by Chaitanya. One thing to note here is our subject of discussion is not transmigration. Subject of discussion is Atma. By looking at, appreciating these topics, Upanishad mantra says, shift attention to the self. Sharirantaram prati. Pratishtitaha anne. Pratishtita means avastita. It is well placed. Anne, Shankaracharya clarifies what is anna. Bhujyamana anna vipariname. The modification of food which is eaten. Pratidinam upachiyamane apachiyamane. Every day it shrinks and it grows. Means few pounds we lose, few pounds we gain. What is that? He says that is this deha. Pinda rupe anne. In this body, Hrudayam. See, now he changed the word Hrudayam to Buddhim. In this body, first pay attention to physical heart. And in that physical heart, recognize Buddhi. Hrudayam Buddhim Pundarika Chidre. In the physical heart, recognize this Buddhi. Sannidhaya. There you will find consciousness reflecting. Samavasthapya means it is very close to this Buddhi. Samavasthapya. This is Upanishadic way of saying, but our Santa Mahatmas, they said, this Deha is like a temple. Deha Devatse Mandira. Ata Atma Parameshwara. Inside this temple, there is Bhagwan sitting there. So just like we keep outside a temple clean, we have to keep our mind clean. Just like we feed good Naivedyam to the Lord, in the same way we should feed good inputs for this body. Same thing is being described. Anna refers to physical body, but it is like a temple. We didn't read the next sentence, right? Hrudaya avasthanam eva hi atmanah stitihi nahi atmanah stitihi anne tad atma tattvam vijnanena vishishtena shastra acharya upadesha janitena jnanena shamadama dhyana sarvatyaga vairagya उद्भूतेन परिपश्यन्ति सर्वतः पूर्णं पश्यन्ति उपलभन्ते धीराः विवेकिनः आनन्दरूपं सर्व अनर्थ दुःख आयास प्रहीणम् अमृतं यद्विभाति विशेषेण स्वात्मनि एव विभाति सर्वदा. हृदय अवस्थानम एव हि आत्मनः स्थितिः. Shankaracharya says, although it is said pratishtitah anne, what we have to understand is, in this anna there is hridaya, and in hridaya or through hridaya we can recognize Atma. Hridaya avasthanam eva hi atmanah sthiti. Atma can be recognized as witness of thoughts. Na hi atmanah sthiti anne. Atma cannot be rooted in physical heart, because we are switching the Siddhanta itself. Consciousness is the substratum of body and thoughts. Now we are saying body is the substratum of consciousness. We say don't understand in that way. Tat Atma Tattvam, that Atma Tattva, which is one's own self, Vijnanena, it is understood through knowledge. What kind of knowledge? He says, Vishishtena, it's a very unique, special knowledge. Shastra Acharya Upadesha Janitena. That knowledge which has arisen through scriptures, through teaching of Acharya, Upadesha Janitena, that knowledge. Now these are the qualifications of knowledge. It should be from Shastra and it should be learned systematically. You know what is the difference between Shastra and Acharya? You see this sentence, Yasya Mahima Bhuvi, that is Shastra Vakya. If you only heard the Mahima of Atma is very famous on this earth, you would just listen to it and keep moving. But the elaboration what we saw, sun and the moon, Alata Chakravat Brahmatah, Saritah, rivers, oceans, they don't transgress the bound. That is Acharya Vakya. Means that Acharya who has lived this knowledge and he is telling us what are his experiences, Anubhava. Because only Shastra Vakya will not open everything for us. So along with Shastra Vakya we need Acharya Upadesha also. So whatever elaboration we find in Shankar Bhashya in other places, that is Acharya Vakya. And Upanishad mantra by itself is Shastra Vakya. So that sadhaka who is able to tune his mind to Acharya and Shastra and allow them to paint his mind without going with a blank slate. Shankaracharya ji, write what you want. And once written, I will protect it. That is this knowledge which cannot be erased. Upadesha janitena jnanena. Why did he get this firm knowledge? Now see the qualifications of the student. Shama Dama. And these are qualifications of where will knowledge stay. Person who is able to control his mind. Person whose transactions are very well regulated. Sense organs and mind, they are very well controlled. Dhyana, every day he meditates. Carves out time to sit down and meditate. Dhyana. Sarvatyaga. Sarvatyaga means, in his own eyes, other than moksha, nothing is absolute priority. Shankaracharya says this is the price one has to pay for Jnana Nishtha. Knowledge will be given to us by Shastra and Acharya. But how will it stay in me? I should ask myself whether I want that knowledge badly. If I want it intensely, that knowledge will stay. Sarvatyaga, that alone is called as Vairagya. He says, I have several immediate goals that will be there. But none of that is highest absolute goal of my life. In fact, all the goals are so that I can attain my final goal. And that goal is Jnana Nishtha. That knowledge which is born in such a sadhaka, Jnana Vairagya Udbhutena, Paripashyanti, he is able to see it. What does he see? Sarvataha Purnam Pashyanti. He sees that consciousness as the complete truth in which the universe is appearing. How should we not understand this? There is world and consciousness is filling the world. That means what? World is real. World is the substratum. In that I am seeing consciousness, not that way, other way around. See that Akasha, if we are able to appreciate, this sentence will become clearer. Bhutakasha is in Chidakasha. Of course, in between is Chittakasha. Bhutakasha and Chittakasha, they are in Chidakasha. So when I say Purnam, means the truth is Purna. There are no parts in it. In that way he is able to see. Upalabhante dhiraha vivekinaha. This is available to Dhira Purusha who is a Viveki. He has discerned between real and unreal. Ananda Rupam Amrutam Yadvibhati. That part is elaborated. Ananda Rupam Sarva Anartha Dukkha Ayasa Prahinam. When a person realizes this truth, it puts an end. Prahinam means it puts an end. To what does it put an end? To all anartha. Anartha means strong ragadveshas, likes and dislikes, which give rise to desires. It puts an end to that anartha. If you don't put an end, then it is dukkham only. So this knowledge, in true sense, will put an end to anartha and dukkha. And ayasa, struggles in life. Amrutam yad vibhati, one who knows it clearly. Visheshena swatmani eva bhati. This truth is available to him as one's own self. Meaning what? This ananda becomes available to him as one's own self. If it is Vishaya Ananda, it is always available outside. Some Vishaya has to be there, it has to come, then there is Ananda. But this Ananda is very unique. Shankaracharya says it is Swatmani Eva Bhati. It is recognized in oneself. It was a very special Bhashya, particularly the word Yasya Esha Mahima Bhuvi. Next mantra is a very popular mantra. We have seen in Drigdrishya Viveka also. That we will see in the next session. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om, everyone.